Hello and welcome back to Desktop Calendar Help video. In this video we'll see how to edit text and colors in Adobe InDesign. So let's open the InDesign file. Before we start with the editing, I want to point out to the layers panel where you can see the first two layers are print info and info box, and basically this is the information for you. In the info box you'll get the general information about the template, and in print info you get all the cut lines, die lines, folds, save text area for the template itself. These two files were created for you, so if you're changing or editing your template in certain ways, you can utilize these two layers, but you can generally just turn them off or delete them if you don't need them. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is editing the template itself. Of course we have the master page here, but we don't utilize the master page much except for the margins, so we won't talk about it. You can check out the desktop calendars with spirals in them to see how the master pages work. What we need to know about this one, I've used the example with the pictures in the background. Everything is the same for all the three templates except this element of pictures. Now for the white and black you won't have to edit any images in the background. You'll get the pure white and pure black backgrounds. Now let's start with editing the colors. There are two different ways of editing the colors. So we can either choose the elements. Let's say, let me just move this a bit so I can select the element here with the blue color. You can select the elements, double click here on the fill panel, either play with this color space view or add your own values here. Press OK and you change the colors. Now that can of course take some time if you want to go through the entire design, so I recommend using the swatches panel. The way to do that, if you don't see the swatches panel, go to Window, Color, and then select the swatches. And here in the swatches panel we can see the colors that have been used for this template. So let's say we want to change this blue to magenta. I'm going to double click on this blue color. I'm just going to change it to the magenta color, and voila, it's been changed throughout the entire design. And if I had any fonts in that same color, they would be changed too. Okay, now the next thing we're going to talk about is editing the fonts. Of course you can just double click on the text layer and then copy and paste your elements. Let's say I'm just going to change this a little bit so you can see. If you're just pasting the elements here, let's say we have the phone, so we're just gonna put this up and just change this. Let's see. And as you can see, it looks a little bit different depending on how you pasted your images. To resolve that, use the paragraph styles. Now in this case in particular, we have two styles that affect this corporate info part. We have the corporate info title, which is the address, phone, email, web names, and the corporate info, which is the information itself. Now in order to make it with these two styles, we click on the corporate info title, then select apply corporate info title, then next style, clear overrides, and voila. If you've pasted it in this manner where you have the title first, then the information second, you're gonna get this info back. If you want to edit the properties of the font, you can either edit them through paragraph styles, and I'm going to show you that a little bit later, or you can open Window, type in Tables, Character. I'm just close the swatches panel. And then I can edit each and every individual element and edit the font properties, like changing the style, changing the size, changing the font itself, etc., etc. Now, this is all fun and great when we have, just like in this example, we have two places where we need to change everything. But let me just go back to paragraph styles. I'm just going to repeat what I did last time to get everything back. But let's say you want to change the elements here in the calendar. Now it's going to take a little bit more time to do that. The simplest way of doing it is going back to the paragraph style, and I'm going to choose weekday. Double click on the paragraph style. These are Monday to Friday. Now I'm going to change to, let's say, 8 points, and I'm going to make it bold. I make it all caps, and I can even change the placing. The spacing is here in the center. I can make it right, I can make it left, so you can see, if you check the preview button, you can see changes happening in real time. And character color, let's say I'm going to make it this color, and voila. Now throughout the entire design we have changed our styles. So that's the best, the fastest, and the easiest way of changing the styles and changing the font styles and font properties in the template. The next thing we're going to talk about is editing the images and logos in that same category. I've used Illustrator logos for the preview. Of course, if you don't work with Adobe Illustrator, you can just change them to the specific raster files. And the same rules apply for the logo or the images. So let's say I want to change the images. I can select the image, go to File, Place, and let me just choose this one and select this one, and voila. This is perfect if the image you're replacing the template with is the same size as your template image. But if, let's go to the second method. I'm gonna go to the links, select the image I wish to edit, right click on it, go to relink, and let's say I use this image that is not the same size and color. I'm gonna need to center it and then fill it horizontally. As you can see, it doesn't, if I scale it down to be proportional, it's gonna change the shape. Okay, now that was the second way of changing the images. Let me just go back. Okay, the last one, and the one that I strongly recommend, is using the images from the image placeholders. And basically we're gonna open the image here. We're gonna place our own image. Let me use this one, for example. Now that I have image placed, I can scale it. I can position it any way you want. Okay, so let's say this is the positioning I want. Now I can merge these two layers by simply selecting Ctrl E on my keyboard to make it a smaller size, or I can just leave this until I decide finally which image I want to use. I'm going to save the image, and once I go back to the InDesign, as you can see, it's going to give me this little warning here that the image is modified. Now if you have modified both of these images from this folder, you can select both, or in this case, and go to right click, relink, update link, or in this case, because we just have the one, we just double click on this yellow triangle and the image will be updated automatically. Like I said, the same rule applies for logos, and that's how you edit your designs. And that was it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email, and I'll try to respond as soon as possible. Have a fantastic day and see you in the next tutorial. Bye.